We're at the Nordic Game Indie Night here in Malmö, Sweden, and we caught up with Jonathan, who's made a game called Flight of the Fireflies. That's in the indie game competition here tonight, hoping to take home the grand prize. Could you describe what Flight of the Fireflies is?
Yes, so Flight of the Fireflies is basically an interactive musical poem. Compared to a lot of the other games here tonight, I don't think Flight of the Fireflies is very much a game. It's more like an interactive experience. It's something that you experience, a journey that you go through, and they're photographs, and you guide this swarm of fireflies through the photographs with your finger, and the fireflies make music. And the more fireflies you collect, the more complex and beautiful the music gets. But there's no objective really. There's no way to win. There's no way to lose. There are no puzzles. There are no challenges. So it's just about experiencing the atmosphere, experiencing the photographs, experiencing the music.
So, so how do you sort of build some sort of, let's say, player? How do you sort of motivate the player when you're sort of doing away with all these things that we're so used to and that we want, or how do you do that?
I think it's a great question, and I think the answer is really beauty. I mean, a lot of games try to motivate the player with some kind of extrinsic motivation. You get points, you get scores, you try and collect. You have 65 out of 100 fireflies collected. I could have added something like that. But instead I opted for going for that you want to collect the fireflies simply to hear the music. You realize that the music becomes more complex, and that makes you want to explore. And there's also this I think we have this innate urge as humans to explore, to see our surroundings and to explore them, and I think that plays into it as well.
So, because to me, this kind of game on a console, for instance, is sort of tainted a little bit. Like when I played Flower, I wanted to know what the trophies were and how I could get them. And that sort of got the gamer in me going, whereas it's not really that kind of experience. And what do you think of that?
I think that's a very fair point. And I think in that regard, I've never actually played Flower. But I think in that regard, Flower doesn't succeed because it's still, as from what I've heard, you have to collect all the petals before you come to the next level. Whereas I think if you want to make this kind of game, you have to basically quit cold turkey. You can't have some game mechanics. You can't have some collection. You can't have some winning and some losing. You have to cut it all away. Because as soon as you have some of that, as soon as you have some achievements, that part of your brain, the reptile part of your brain, is going to kick in, and it's going to say, all right, so now I have 4 out of 20. I want to get all of 20 of them. And when you get into that mode, then you're going to be blind to the beauty. You're going to be blind to the experience, or you're going to be blind to the atmosphere.
So no plans to add Open Faint or Game Center?
Absolutely not.
And your game is already out there, so if anyone wants to play it, they can download it right now?
Yeah, it's available on the App Store. Just go download it.
Right. And what as a developer, where are you at right now, and what do you want to do in the future? And is this something you want to explore more, or was this something that you just wanted to do for this game and now you're doing something else, or what's in store?
Well, this is part of Flight of the Fireflies is part of this sort of initiative that was started by a Belgian American game studio called Tale of Tales, and this initiative is called Not Games, which is all about exploring the boundaries of what games can do as a cultural medium, and by focusing exactly on the experience and the emotions and the actual content. And not as much on game mechanics, going beyond game mechanics, going beyond sort of the traditional view of games. And when I did this game, it was actually, I designed a traditional casual puzzle game for iPhone before. And then I made Flight of the Fireflies, which was something completely different. And when I did away with all game mechanics, I actually felt that was a liberation. It felt that was a freedom for me to not try to come up with ways to trick the player into wanting to play more, and instead for me to focus on what I felt was most important, which is to create a beautiful experience. So my next game is going to be a knot puzzle. So it's basically going to be a puzzle game where all the solutions are the right one. So it's in the same way that Flight of the Fireflies is like a collection game, but without challenge. The next game is going to be a puzzle game where you can't lose. So it's going to be and try and explore this sort of same hypnotic feeling that you often get when you play a puzzle game, where you come into it and you're totally into it and you just want to play one more round. But in the same way that Flight of the Fireflies motivates with music, this is going to motivate with beauty, beautiful patterns, beautiful graphics. That you want to see another one. You want to see if you can get something even more beautiful.
So it's a little bit like it want to provoke the player into be creative rather than just sort of finding those set solutions.
Yeah, in a way, it's about. I think the interactive medium, whether it's games or other interactive things like websites or programs or whatever. I think it's about the interaction, and I think games is perhaps the best way of exploring interactivity. And I think there's this back and forth between me as a player and the game. If you know Chris Crawford's classic definition of interactivity, it's a conversation between two parts where both parts think, speak, and react. And I think that's, if you get that right, if you get that interaction right, that sort of cycle, then you can create really captivating experiences.
It's almost like you're deconstructing everything to its sort of bare essentials there.
I guess if I was a literary theorist, you could say that.
All right, thank you very much for your time, and get back to your game, and I hope you do well in the competition.
Thank you.